I also think it's really useful in terms of writing, and you're working on a thriller, to consume television and film that's in the mystery thriller genre because it moves very quickly. And I do think that not all, but a lot of thrillers these days, the expectation is that a lot happens in a short amount of time. And it's funny. With my short story, a few readers who really enjoyed Since She's Been Gone asked to read early copies, drafts of it, and I sent it to them, and they all said, "You packed so much in 39 pages." And I was thinking that really is my television film brain.
This week I got to talk with my good friend and one of my favorite writers, Sagit Schwartz, about her new short story, Broken Threads. It is very fun. So much happens in like 40 pages, essentially. And there's even a little bit of an Easter egg in it for her next full-length novel that's coming out. So you don't want to miss out on this. But here is the synopsis. When Claire loses her job as a technical writer at a pharmaceutical company due to AI, she has 1 month's rent saved and historical fiction novels she's been unable to get published. Desperate, she turns to Amber, a young influencer in her apartment building, for help promoting the book. Amber offers Claire a shocking deal, 50% of the profits, if Claire allows her to claim the novel as her own. Running out of money and options, Claire hesitantly agrees. Then the unimaginable happens. The book is an instant runaway hit, a viral phenomenon skyrocketing to the top of multiple bestseller lists. Literary agents reach out to Amber, eager to sign her, and Claire begins to suspect Amber is cheating her out of money, until Amber is found dead. There's like so much fun stuff, maybe not fun stuff, about the publishing industry in this short story. She talks about AI's impact on writers, as well as ageism that is really common in both publishing and social media, which has become more important if you want to be a published author. And the ending is amazing. So I will say, if anyone is trying to hit their Goodreads reading goal before the end of the year, this is a nice short story that will help you get there. That being said, let's hear from Sagit. I am super excited to talk with Sagit Schwartz again. If you've been listening to the podcast this year, you've definitely heard me talking about her books Since She's Been Gone. But she also wrote a short story here recently called Broken Threads that I'm excited to talk about. So welcome.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here again.
Yeah, I'm excited. So a couple things I was thinking about as I was just like prepping an interview. You have introduced me to some of my favorite TV shows over the last couple months.
I'm an obsessive television and film person when it comes to suspense, mysteries, spy thrillers. Like that's what I consume
Yeah.
90% of the time.
Yeah.
Except in 10% like, English teacher.
I know.
Everything else is the other stuff.
That's what I thought is so cool is like, for whatever reason, so like Gare doesn't necessarily, he just like comedy doesn't get to him, and there are plenty of like thriller readers that feel that way, and so I'm just glad that it's not just me where it is. It's like 90% is like
Yes.
thrilling in some way or mysterious, but like also I love the comedy that I do watch, and the English Teacher was so good. So good.
I love that show so much.
Yeah. Who was I just talking to? Drew. He's a man reader is his Instagram handle. And we were talking about
I was recently in touch with him. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Good. Yeah, he's so cool. And he reads so much and watches a lot of stuff. But we were talking about how like comedies used to be like 22 episode seasons. And I'm like, I needed 22 episodes of English Teacher.
I basically the pilot episode of that show, I laughed out loud twice in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I texted my best friend and I'm like, I just laughed twice in the first 10 minutes of a TV show. Like, you need to watch this.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
it was
so funny, but also clever and smart
thought
and
provoking.
right, current too, very
Yeah.
current. Speaking
Yeah.
about this moment in time.
Yes. Yeah. And I like how they approach wokeism, but like also just uh what is it called
It's
when
really
you're
funny in a
it's
very funny
politics,
way.
but like when we're like playing politics or whatever. But it approaches like all sides in many
Yep.
ways. Like it's not making a judgment on like one generation getting it completely right,
I agree. Yeah.
which is nice. It was such a cool idea. And I've been starting my wish list, like my guest wish lists, and Brian Jordan Alvarez is up
Oh
there.
God.
So if
Oh, we got to make that happen.
yes, so if anyone is listening and knows him, let them know that like we'll both interview him even.
Oh,
If he'll
I would
come
love
on.
it. I have touted that show to more people than I know.
Yeah.
My husband actually read an article about it because my husband consumes more television and film than I do.
Yeah.
Uh, I read probably more than him. He was an English major, but
Oh wow.
nowadays he's more into consuming stories through television and film. And he
Yeah.
sent me an article and he was like, I just tried this and it is so funny. You need to try it. So that's how I heard about it.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got me on Disclaimer too, which is
Yeah.
dark and bleak for our dark and bleak fans.
Yeah. It is, but it was so interesting though
Yes.
how a book was like the smoking gun of the entire, I mean,
Yes.
I really think it's like for readers and it's
I
based on a
agree.
book. I mean, so I heard you talk about it
Mhm.
on the pod,
Yeah.
but it really, that one I just think was like made for readers and the acting was incredible and the
Yes.
directing and yeah,
It really was. There were so many like even the way the characters narrate like themselves, like it feels
right,
like you're watching a book is what was really cool
right,
on top
right.
of all of the very complicated
Yes.
storylines going on.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep the Rex coming
Yes. I need you to
because
because you
I'm
kind of help
always
you helped me like get to or kind of like remember like oh yeah, I don't just have to read like because I'm
yes.
have a reading podcast, like I do love TV just as much too.
I also think it's really useful in terms of writing, and
Mhm.
you're working on a thriller,
Yeah.
to consume television and film that's in
Yeah.
the mystery thriller genre because it moves very quickly.
Mhm.
And I do think that not all, but a lot of thrillers these days, the expectation is that a lot happens in
Mhm.
a short amount of time. I mean, there
Yeah.
could be quieter, uh, you know, more mysteries that are slow burns, but I think they're more rare now,
I think they
actually.
are too.
I mean, one of my favorites what this year was The God of the Woods, and
Yeah.
that's a slow
Very
burn.
slow
But
burn.
I
Yeah.
think that's rare.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not showing up as much. I can't help myself. I love fast pace, so I might be part of I'm part of the demand out there.
And it's
But
funny.
go ahead.
With my short story, uh, that is yet to be released. I'm waiting on Amazon. I've never uploaded a short story on KDP before. This is a first for me.
Oh, that
So
is
it's
kind of
like
cool.
in review,
Mhm.
and it should be out any day. But I've a few readers who really enjoyed Since She's Been Gone asked to read early copies, drafts of it, and I sent it to them, and they all said, "You packed so much in 39 pages." And
Yes.
I was thinking that really is my television film brain, and I did
Mm.
work in Hollywood. So I think that I apply those lessons of like the plot's got to keep moving and moving and moving, and every line matters in a script. And, you're talking about filming days and not, I mean, everything is so
Mhm.
precise. So I bring that lens and perspective, I think, to writing.
Yeah. I will two things from that because I was about to say that was since she's been gone, I feel like you did both. So I'm like the interesting reader who's like, I love character driven, but I'm like, but I love fast paced, and those don't always go together. But like the
Right.
balance is like since she's been gone is a good example of one where like, but if the character development like really matters to me and I like care about the character and
Yeah.
stuff is happening like as
In the
that's going
present.
forth, that's where I think I like a book's more memorable for me too.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it might just be, plot, 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 and then it's
yeah,
over, and it was like a Snickers candy bar that you
right,
devoured, and it was great, but I don't remember
right.
what it tastes like now.
I
Um,
know. It's interesting that we're talking about this because as I've been writing, I've been getting in my head because I've talked so much on the podcast recently about how I'm like a pacing snob. And so then I'm like writing all this stuff and I'm like, it really matters. They need to know this about this character. And I'm like getting in my own head and
well,
being
just
like, am I too boring? Am I not? Is this not
no,
fast
first
paced?
draft, get it all out. Just get it
Yes.
out. That
Yeah.
first draft, no judgment, no,
Yep.
you can kill your babies later,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I've
but
got
you've
to.
got to get it out right now. I
Yes.
mean, I've had situations where I'll write a whole 10-page backstory for a character that will never appear in the book,
Yeah.
just so I understand how they speak, what their lens is,
Yes.
where they're coming from. None of it is time that is not well spent. It's all worthwhile in the end.
Yeah.
Because even if you end up taking those parts out later, it'll bring a depth and a
Hmm.
breadth to the characters.
Yeah. That's really good to know. Because I definitely have like 20,000 words that I just don't
Mhm.
think will end up in it. But it like
It's
told the
part of the
story of the
story,
main
though.
character's mother, essentially, and how they ended up where they are. So I don't know that it needed 20, it'll end up needing to be 20,000 words of it in the book. But I agree. It like makes them feel more solidified in my head as I move
Thousand
forward.
percent. And
Yeah.
but even beyond that, it'll be reflective on the page.
Yeah. Yeah. That it.
That will come through, whether those words are there or not, that will come
Hmm.
through.
Yeah.
Because then that character is moving around with the breadth and depth of their experiences in the book.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. I love that perspective. Who knew I was gonna get my writing advice on today too. Oh, my second question was, did we talk about you being in Hollywood previously? I feel like I didn't know
I
that. What
don't
did you do in
remember.
Hollywood?
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I had my years there pre-COVID,
Mm-hmm.
with mainly television, and got a show made on Lifetime Television. It was a romance digital series. There were like 10 different like mini series.
Oh,
I
that's
was
cool.
a co-head writer, and it was a lot of fun. We we got to the chemistry tests and sitting in on those as a producer, and you know having to make decisions about because you can have two unbelievably attractive people, actors, brilliant, but then they don't have the chemistry.
Right.
And so those were really fun, and yeah, it was a lot of work, but it
I
was
bet.
worthwhile. And
That's
some of
cool.
the digital series, I think they play them on YouTube.
Oh,
The
okay.
series was called Fall Into Me, and then
Okay.
underneath them there were different ones. There was measurements. There was just several different ones that each had about 8 episodes that were like 7 minutes each. So it was like
Mm,
a digital series.
that's cool.
Yeah, it
That's a cool
was.
experience.
It was great. It was a great experience. But I definitely bring that to my writing. I think
Yes.
that
You
lens.
keep it moving, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, what had you wanting to think about short stories?
I, I have a new thriller book coming out next year, The Underdog, and I just as a writer, you just kind of have to keep things going in
Mm,
publishing because people forget about you, they're on to other things. What's the next book? And I didn't want to wait a year between each publication of each book. And I was like,
yeah.
I think releasing a short story around Christmas time might be good. It's like a quick little escape for
Hmm.
people, family stress, just something fun, something light,
Yeah.
and just to just distract yourself. Now, I had this idea for the story, but I didn't know that it was going to be a prequel of sorts or have an Easter egg for my
There we go.
thriller that's coming out in March. That I did not know.
I was wondering, but I didn't know if I was going to bring it up or not because I didn't know if it was spoilery. Because she does something really cool at the end that everyone that's excited for the underdog, now you should be excited to read this too. So you can get a little Easter egg for it.
Yeah. I We'll see how this goes. If I mean, it also depends on my ideas and all of that, but in the future, if I might release yearly a short story that's kind of a prequel to whatever thriller I do.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to see how this goes.
Yeah.
This is new for me.
Right. Yeah. That's all you can do. Just see what happens. Um, was there anything different about writing a short story compared to a novel? I mean, I'm sure there were some things.
Well, it's not as laborious, and you don't have to keep track of things that are going on in over 300 pages.
Yes.
So it's a little simpler in that way.
Yeah.
It was really fun to write. It was a
Yeah.
fun
And you can kind of just, I was talking with Hallie Sutton about this recently, where she was saying, like, she's even been writing short stories because she needs to feel like she's done with something and like wants to like have that further her motivation on a novel that takes so much longer to write.
one.
So I'm sure it's kind of fun too, where you're like, I can do 40 pages.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not new to me. I have published stories on Reddit, No Sleep. I don't know if you're
Oh,
familiar
nice.
with that, that horror
Yes.
short story space. So I do like short stories.
Well, I'm gonna have to go read some of those. I got hyper fixated on We Used to Live Here, which came as well from No Sleep, that subreddit. So now I need to go find yours on there.
Yeah. I have
um,
one up right now. I took some down. I think I have one up there now.
yeah, nice. I want to read horror for sure. I've like all of a sudden become more of a horror girly lately. It just snuck up
It's
on me.
called Dr. Wait, is it called Dr. Porter?
Okay.
2.0. Or no, actually, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're
Because
good.
I adapted that for a film.
Oh,
I did a script for it that was called Dr. Porter 2.0, but the Reddit No Sleep story it has a different title. I can send it to you.
okay. Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes if anyone wants to
Okay.
hop on and read it too. Um, so what's interesting, there were so many interesting things in this short story. Like you said, uh, the reviewers, including me, felt like you packed a lot into it, and it still feels like a thriller or two. But you also managed to like sneak in some commentary amongst all of the plot. So um, we start off with the main character just lost her job as a technical writer,
Mhm,
most likely because AI is going to be doing the technical writing for her company now.
mhm.
So, what made you want to write about the way the AI is kind of coming for writing jobs?
Well, I'm seeing things happen around me. I have author friends and books being taken and fed to the AI machines without permission. There's class action lawsuits going on. This is a real world problem. It's not imaginary. It's all happening in real time.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. I don't think some people are aware of it and some people aren't. And it is like the regulations is what needs to happen, or there just needs to be
Yeah.
more regulations about how to use it. Um, but we're just gonna have to like wait and see how that plays out, I guess. And the other thing that it touches on though is like ageism in publishing, and
Mhm.
how everyone kind of wants the like young ingenue, but like you could be writing great books at any age. um what made you want to write about that?
Well, that's a story as old. I mean, that it's an old story. It's not a new one. That's
Right.
always been the case in the literary world.
Hmm.
So that isn't a new story. What is new is we have social media now,
Hmm.
and authors are expected to go on social media and promote themselves.
Yes.
And you go on TikTok or YouTube, and it's a younger crowd. So what
Right.
does in this short story, what does the 53-year-old woman do with the historical fiction novel in her
Right.
drawer? And I don't know if I've said actually what Broken Threads is about. I should probably say
Oh
that to the
yeah, yeah.
listeners. Um, it's about, as you said, it's about an older writer who loses her job as a technical writer at a pharmaceutical company due to AI, and she has 1 month's rent saved and a historical fiction novel she has not been able to get published. So she
Mm,
approaches a young influencer in her apartment building to see if she would be willing to promote it. And the influencer gives her basically a shocking offer. She says, I will, as long as I can claim it's my book.
mhm,
And Claire, the protagonist, is very desperate, running out of money, and reluctantly agrees. And
mhm.
things do not go according to plan.
Yeah. Not at all.
Not at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it is then the issue is that also on social media, like you're saying, like the ageism is there too, essentially. Like whether it's because there are more younger people on it, or just that the algorithm is like looking for the like Instagram face,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
whatever, like the like face we're all like slow women are slowly morphing into like one face on Instagram. um so it was fun having um using stories and like TikTok and all of it. Like you're talking about all of the platforms and stuff, and the way that like there is luck involved
Yeah.
with the books that go viral or that
Mhm.
really get the attention each year,
Mhm.
because that book just sitting in someone's drawer is the same book. But like when it's a cute little influencer selling it, it seems like it's something different.
Right. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was wild. It was kind of fun. It's a little bit snarky too. Um okay, my dogs are starting to bark. Which is one of my favorite or not buzzwords, but like genre words too. So I loved the tone as well.
Oh, thank you. As I said, I really did have fun writing it, and I just wanted it to be a fun experience for people to read it as well. Um, uh, I have had some feedback where people are like, I had a whole range of emotions. I was upset, I was worried, I was this, I was that. But most of all, I just hope you have a blast reading it.
Yeah. I thought it was very fun. And even as a reader sometimes, can you hear him screaming in the
Yeah,
background? Okay.
well, we recently lost our dog,
I
but I
know.
have been there. I have been there. We're gonna get a new one though. We are.
Oh, I'm glad.
Oh, he misses mama.
Yeah.
He
He
misses
when he hears police sirens, he tries to howl. Though it's the only
Oh,
time he howls. He's like trying to talk to the police outside the window right
oh
now.
my God.
I know.
That's
Okay,
funny.
I'm so sorry about your dog. I felt so
Oh,
bad. But
thank
is
you.
he who the dedication is to? That's what I thought. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, it made me happy
yeah,
and sad, but
yeah.
that's never easy. Um, I can't remember what I was talking about when my dog started losing his
Um,
mind.
I was just saying that I really wanted people to have fun reading
Oh,
this.
yes.
The characters are fun. The setup, I think, is fun in
Mhm.
terms of the apartment building and the
Mhm.
legal trouble, and then the ending when, you
Yes. Yeah, the ending is really good, and I can pretty much guarantee people who like the same books and listen to this podcast will love the ending. Um, so you have been working on book number 2 as well.
yeah.
That's is there much you can talk about with that one?
That one it's called The Underdog, and it's about a down on her luck filmmaker who works as a contestant chaperone at a reality TV music show of the likes The Voice, American Idol, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And she crosses paths with a dangerous fan of the
Mhm.
show. And it is suspenseful, it is fun, it's in the reality TV music world, which I love. I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan of
Yes.
those shows. And it's a dual POV. So one
Mhm.
is of her, the aspiring down on her luck director, and the other
Mhm.
is this obsessed fan.
Yeah.
And I'm pitching it as None of This Is True meets
Mm.
Sunset Boulevard, the film.
Ooh. Oh my
So
gosh.
the obsessed fan is actually called Norma. Her name is
Mm.
Norma. So that
Nice.
is a nod to Sunset Boulevard.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is so cool. I'm getting more and more excited for this book the longer we talk.
It's a popcorn thriller. It's fun. This
Yeah.
one is a fun one. Since she's been gone, I viewed as much as a form of advocacy for
Yeah.
mental health. And it's a very emotional thriller,
Mhm.
heartfelt. This is, change in tone. This is fun.
Yeah. I know, and I know you're having fun writing something more like that and trying that out. And you were your research was that you got to watch a lot of episodes of your favorite shows.
Yeah. I mean, now, you just can see like the summaries on TikTok or YouTube. You don't even need to sit through the whole thing.
That's
But
true.
yeah, it is fun watching people trying to sing their way to
Oh yeah.
stardom.
Yeah.
And there's always the emotional stories behind their struggles and
Mhm.
trying to become an artist, because it's that hard. It is really that hard to make it
Yeah.
as a musician, as a singer.
Yeah. Yeah, for
So
it
I
to
think I
be more
like
than a
those
hobby.
shows because it's really hard to be a writer too.
Mm.
Anything in the arts, it is hard. It's not just
You're
now.
right.
Historically, this has always been the case. I mean,
Mhm.
Van Gogh basically died on the streets with nothing uh,
Right.
to show for himself. And now he's got a massive museum in
Right.
Amsterdam that I've been to, which is incredible.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so, but an artist's life has always been, even before AI, unpredictable,
Mhm.
level of insecurity. It's
Yeah.
the circus act forever, basically.
Mhm. Yeah, it really is. Which, as you're saying that, I see why people, artists as well, make good characters in thrillers because of all of those things. Like their life's already a little bit unpredictable. They're in like
Right.
weird situations. The like stakes are pretty high because they're probably broke all the time. Like all of that.
And the roller coaster of it, the
Yeah.
yes, the no, it's just drama, high
Yeah.
drama. It's a high
Yeah.
drama lifestyle in a way.
Yeah. That'll be
And you
cool. I
need the
think.
sensitive side, and then you also need to be tough too,
Yes.
to persevere, take rejection.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And in the world we live in now, it's particularly interesting. with
Mhm.
the tech bros, with, a lot of people trying to squeeze artists out of the picture.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree. I'm also excited because I can't think of a singing reality TV show thriller I've read. Like Daisy
I,
Jones is the only thing that comes up for me.
right? Is that, but that's not really a
That's not a
thriller.
thriller.
I
Mm-mm.
read it. That's not a
Mm-hmm.
thriller.
Mm-mm.
This is a thriller.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
So. A fun one, another fun one. If you enjoyed the tone and the fun of Broken Threads, then this is continuing on that path.
Yeah, nice. Have you been reading anything lately that you've loved?
I I get recommendations all the
Mm-hmm.
time. I just actually last night downloaded a Kindle sample, which I haven't looked at yet because
Mm.
a book talker that I like recommended it yesterday, but I
Yeah.
can't remember off the top of my head the name of the book. And I am
Yeah.
literally, I can look it up.
Yeah, go for
Okay,
it. I
okay,
can
let
make a
me just.
marker.
Um, I downloaded the sample last night and I
Yeah.
started reading it. I got a new Kindle, but my Kindle's in another room.
Oh.
I got a new Kindle on Black Friday, my very first Kindle.
Ooh.
Which is very exciting. It's a
I
game
love
changer
them. It
for
is.
reading.
Yes.
It
I
really
love it.
is. So hang on, I'm just going to pull this up
Yeah. I
because
love
this,
the
I
book
just
talkers too.
literally downloaded the sample. What the Wife Knew.
Gare just finished it and said it is amazing.
Okay, all right. Darby Kane. Yeah, I
Yes, it just
just
came out yesterday.
all right. Well, as I said, one of the big book talkers I
Yeah.
follow was like, "Get this now."
Yeah.
So I downloaded the sample and I was getting really addicted. And I have a thing with thrillers
Yeah.
that if they suck me in, I can go without a whole night of sleep and I will just
Oh
read
yeah.
the whole thing all night. So I had to put it down. I was like, you will lose a night of sleep. So I'm
Yes.
so glad he liked it.
He said it's amazing. I think he said because he loves a lot of her books. I think he said it's his second favorite now, which is like,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So now
All
I
right.
like literally we just recorded the episode where he said that last night. So this is like within 24 hours I've heard
So
about
now
this book.
you're going to, yeah.
I'm like now I need to read it. Well, or you and I will all be reading it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's next on my next list.
Yeah.
The book this year that really stuck with me, though, that has kind of sat with me for a while, is The God of the Woods.
Yeah. It's got it it won by so much on Goodreads, votes
It
wise.
had a depth to it, and it just kind of like settled into
Mhm.
in me, and I've thought a lot about it since.
Yeah. It's very atmospheric too. Yeah, you like feel where you are the whole time.
Very much so. I think the
Yeah.
author's family owned a camp in that
Oh,
area.
really? I
Yeah,
didn't
in
realize
the
that. That would make
physical book,
sense.
there's a map.
Yeah. I did remember seeing that like when I first opened it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That one I think
So
that one's gonna stick around on the charts for a while.
definitely. So,
Yeah.
but I'm excited to read um
What
this recommendation. Now
Yes.
hearing that you have heard the same thing, that it's supposed to be
Yes.
fantastic.
I know. I just started John Fram's The Bright Lands. That's what we're reading for our backlist book club this month. And it's really good so far. It's
Oh,
solidifying
good.
how much I like John Fram's writing for sure.
Nice. It's
Yeah.
always wonderful to have, just books
Yeah.
to look forward to and
Yes.
authors you love, and it really is great.
It is. I agree. Um, where can people follow you if they don't follow you
Oh,
already?
yes.
Mhm.
I'm on Instagram, Sagit Schwartz. I'm on TikTok, Sagit Writer. I've been getting more and more active on Threads, which is the same
Mhm.
handle as Instagram.
Yeah.
I've been there a lot.
Yeah.
They actually were down today.
Oh,
All of
really?
Meta was,
Huh.
strangely. Yeah.
That's weird.
Not for a lot of people. I don't know if they've resolved it, but
Yeah.
those are the places where I've been mainly at. I deactivated Twitter a long time ago, so I don't have that. So it's just
Yeah.
Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. I have a Blue Sky account. I have not started posting on there
I
yet.
haven't either. I created one.
It's hard to keep,
I
there's a lot of
know.
social media accounts.
Yeah. Well, you and I have stayed in touch on Instagram, so we'll tell
Yep,
people Instagram works.
yep. And I also have a website, and people can
Hmm.
subscribe to my newsletter. So
Hmm.
it's sagitschwartz.com, and I have a newsletter that goes out periodically. I do not inundate people's
Yeah.
inboxes with it. I really only use it to announce things.
Yeah, totally. Well, I will put those links in the show notes, but thanks for stopping by again.
Thank you so much, Kate. I always love chatting with you about books, TV shows, film writing,
Yes,
all of it.
all of it.